Now, these are the terms you learned in geometry. We have a special set of terms that kind of parse the geometry in a different fashion whenever we talk about satellites. Because the planet's got to be on one of these foci in the orbit, let's assume it's on this one for a second. It is a little more intuitive to think of this in terms of the farthest distance from the planet. There's a point on the ellipse that has the farthest distance, and then there's a point that has the shortest distance. Both are going to be on the major axis. This one's going to be over here. This is going to be the minor one. And this has a very special name. It's called the periapsis for a general orbit. And the longest distance is called the apses. That's the generic term. Now, you'll probably never use those terms again in your life because astronomers and kind of space people like to have this jargon. So normally, engineers are very practical people, right? We like to keep things very straightforward. We're also very humble people. We don't name things after ourselves, right? Right? You know, if you have, we deal with an impulse response. That's what we call it. The mathematicians call it a Green's function. Green was sort of the person that came up with that. You know, we just call it by the practical thing that it is. You know, there are other professions that sort of hide their profession in a dense collection of jargon. You know, like the legal profession or biology. You know, it's kind of because all these terms that you got to learn, and it's honestly. We could do it if we knew the terms, right? You're all bright people. Okay, here's an example of where some pretty hardcore scientists just went overboard with the terminology. Let me show you what I mean. So depending on what you're orbiting around, you change the terminology of the apses and periapses. So let's see if I have the printout here. Oh, here we go. Let me put this on the overhead screen here. And this is ripped off, straight off of Wikipedia. Somebody actually took the time to compile this. So when we're talking about Earth orbits, we use apogee and perigee. Apogee is the farthest point from the Earth. Perigee is the shortest. If you're talking about orbits around the Sun, you have aphelion, the farthest distance from the Sun, perihelion, shortest distance of the Sun. You will probably see me make several mistakes just during the course of this semester where I will accidentally call a non-Earth orbit an apogee and a perigee. I apologize ahead of time. I still make mistakes. Because look at this. This is really humorous. Like, we have words for every planet has at least one convention. You know, Mars. The perihelion and the apoarian. Jupiter has several different competing terms. Perizine, perigove, apozine, apogove. My favorite one is this black hole. We have never put anything in orbit around a black hole. And to my mind, I don't think we're planning on in the next couple millennia. But there are already 3 competing terminologies. I think this is partly the fault of the science fiction writers, really.